You can be great at scheduling, tracking KPIs, and writing flawless project plans. But the moment you're expected to lead people, everything changes. Welcome to the Project Management Masterclass, the show where project leaders are made. This platform exists for one reason. Tools don't deliver projects, people do. That's why the Power Skills Academy was created, to help project professionals master the skills that actually move the needle. Emotional intelligence, communication, collaborative leadership, and strategic thinking. The skills that elevate your influence and make people want to follow your lead. If you ever thought, what am I missing? This is your answer. Visit www.developpowerskills.com. The link is in the description. Now, here's your host, Brittany Wilkins.
Welcome to Project Management Masterclass with your favorite project leader and masterclass mentor, Brittany Wilkins. On this show, my goal is to inspire and help project management professionals on their journey by mastering the art and fundamentals of the profession. It is really my hope that with each episode, you'll walk away with a powerful insight, a tool, or even just a fresh perspective, something that moves you one step closer to achieving project success. Today, I would like to talk about and just have a conversation about a mindset that completely can change how you lead projects, customer-centricity. I was sitting in an employee town hall meeting and a light bulb went off for me. The CEO was sharing the company's vision and talking about what it truly takes to be best in class. And it wasn't just about innovation, hitting deadlines, or keeping budgets in check. It was about something deeper, internalizing customer centricity. So whether your customer is internal facing, like a stakeholder, department lead, or a business function or a business unit, or external facing, it's like an end user or that paying client. The customer has to remain at the center and at the heart of what we do. Now, you may be thinking she is stating the very obvious. Yes and no. Because while everyone says the customer matters and the fast pace of project delivery, their true experience can easily get lost along the journey. That's why customer centricity isn't just a task, it is truly a mindset. Stick with me for a minute. Let's zoom out here for a second and let's think the bigger, broader term in the business world, in the sense of the business world. Customer centricity is about putting the customer at the center of everything we do. It's not just about making sales. It's about designing our operations, our products and service and culture around solving real customer needs and delivering real customer value. Let's take companies like Amazon, an iconic company, and who is a very great example of what customer centricity looks like at scale. Amazon doesn't just sell products. It designs every part of its business around three things: ease, trust, and loyalty. From that search bar to the doorstep, the customer is front and center. When Jeff Bezos was Amazon's CEO, he took this idea very seriously that in early executive meetings, he would leave an empty chair at the table. The chair symbolized the customer's presence. It was really a constant reminder that every decision made in that room needed to serve the person who ultimately pays the bills. And that's the level of intentionality that defines a truly customer-centric mindset. And for us, this is very important for us project leaders and managers. Customer centricity is just about doing something from start to finish, from start to end of a project. It's the mindset we have to carry the entire way along the journey of the project, of the program. And here's why. Because first, it changes how we think, not just what we do. You see, two project managers might use the same methodology, but only the customer-centric one pauses to ask, is this delivering real value to the customer? Second, it reshapes your priorities. When we have this mindset of customer centricity, we're not just driving projects to finish. We have to evaluate decisions constantly against, is this making the customer's world better? Third, I believe it builds empathy. You start walking in the customer's shoes and you begin anticipating those pain points, thinking about that user experience and designing solutions that feel intuitive, not forced. And again, it's a mindset that travels with us that isn't just project specific, project centric. When we really internalize customer centricity, it becomes part really of the leadership style, no matter the project and no matter the organizations we are a part of. So what does this really look like when we apply it to project management? Well, I believe it shows up for us in actions in 6 ways, which I want to share and kind of walk through this. Number 1 is value-driven delivery. Again, we have to get past the triple constraints. Instead of us just tracking timelines and budgets, we have to really ask ourselves over and over again, are we solving the right problem for the customer? The second way is stakeholder engagement. You involve customers early and often, not just for approval, but to guide the development with their input and voice. Third, it's about those feedback loops. We have to build those regular touch points to gather feedback and adjust along the way, rather than waiting until the end. And 4, it's really about that experience awareness. You're considering how easy, useful, and intuitive your final deliverable will be for the customer. 5, customization and flexibility. You remain adaptable, ready to pivot when the customer needs evolve or new insights emerge. 6, really focus on outcomes over output. Success isn't defined by what we produce. It's defined by the impact we create for the customer. Ready to elevate your project management game? Introducing Project Management Masterclass Podcast Premium. Imagine unlocking bonus episodes packed with exclusive insights, advanced strategies, and power skills development, all tailored to help you lead projects with confidence and stay ahead in your career. With expert guidance and real-world applications, you'll gain the tools needed to navigate complex projects, inspire teams, and deliver results like never before. No fluff, just high-value lessons to fuel your growth. And no long-term contracts, month-to-month subscription. Cancel anytime. But don't settle for average. Step into excellence with Project Management Masterclass Podcast Premium. Subscribe today and take your career to the next level. So think about a time, if we go back to some of the steps that I shared and some of the mindsets, have you ever felt a time where you didn't feel like you as the customer were your best interests were at the heart of the supplier or vendor you were working with? One example comes to mind when I first started working in the HVAC industry. My first week of work my boss had assigned me to lead our organization from getting off of one time tracking tool and migrating to this new PPM tool, which I won't name here. But as I started to really dig into the tool and prepare that project management plan to transition us, and as I was asking our vendor questions, it became very obvious to me that they didn't have our best interests at heart. We were sold a tool based upon fancy features and potential, I believe. But as we function as a business in many of our business operations, the tool was not very intuitive at all. In fact, it became more of a burden than it was a help. And as I was gathering stakeholder feedback from the engineering organization and providing a lot of these feedback loops to the vendor, I truly felt like our experience and the level of support we needed from the vendor was just not there. Because with an organization as large as the one I was part of in the HVAC industry, we needed customization and flexibility. And the company offered configurability. There's a difference between configurability and customization. And we can only configure it to a certain degree. Time tracking was very important to our organization, and rolling up our financial numbers and how we plan and everything. And so when a report was generated, it would take 2 to 3 hours sometimes to even get a report, or the system would just shut down and we'll have to wait a day. So we kept talking to the vendor about what needs to change on the back end for us to be able to drive reporting and dashboards through the PPM tool. And we kept kind of getting the kind of same story and scenario. We're working on it, or you can submit a help ticket. Well, in submitting those help tickets, it was like I was going through the same things over and over again and getting the same result. And it just baffled me that we've invested and we've entrusted this vendor to help us execute and deliver project success and run our projects, our programs through this tool. But through the lens that I was viewing, it wasn't very customer centric. And I felt that the vendor was continuing to kind of force its cookie cutter solution on us rather than trying to meet us where we are and find that happy medium. And I felt the mindset, like I talked about before, was really empathy. Like, where's the empathy for the customer that at this point in time, a lot of the pain points are not being addressed. The user experience is not that great based upon the feedback loops that I was receiving. And the tool isn't designed in such a way that feels intuitive. Now, maybe the tool does provide the optimal solution, but just for our particular case scenario, it didn't. And so as I was sitting in the town hall, I thought about when, again, this story where I felt like I wasn't at the heart of customer centricity, that my pain points and needs were not being addressed. But then I thought to myself, I said, Brittany, how are you providing customer centricity for the stakeholders that you serve for the engineers that you lead, for the technical fellows that you work with. And one of the projects I was leading, I kept saying to myself, I feel like we're not getting anywhere. I feel like I continue to go in circles talking about the same things. And again, I'm just focused on trying to drive results, but not really truly focused on those outcomes. I'm just trying to get the project done so I could be gone and move on to the next thing. But it took me sitting in a workshop where I began to feel that empathy, and I really began to build that empathy. And I think that's part of the customer experience. And in continuous improvement, it's called GIMBA, go and see. Go exactly see how the customer is doing. Talk to the customer and really, again, sit down. And it may take a few sessions and it may take some time for things to finally click. But in a workshop, it began to click because I began to understand the real nuances and the pain points that these stakeholders were going through, that at the level of the maturity that they were at did not elude itself to really driving the project as faster as we wanted to or anticipated we could go. So I really had to internalize all these pain points and to really change my mindset and my overall plan to say, instead of approaching the project and coming in with the mentality of where I think the team should be, meet them where they are at. And as opposed to saying, what problem do you want to solve? I began to paint some different frameworks and began to put some different ideas into a PowerPoint presentation, because I believe sometimes customers have pain points, but sometimes it's hard for them to really articulate what they are trying to solve, or even knowing how to ask for the help that they need. So again, I would encourage us to think about, how do we continue to keep the customers, whether internal or external, at the heart of what we do, taking the mindset into consideration in these 6 ways that I've just shared in this meeting. So here's really my challenge to you. As you lead your current or next project, I want you to really think about customer centricity as a mindset you bring, not just a milestone you check off. And really spend some time maybe researching and reading about customer centricity, because that's one thing that I incorporated, and I began to read, and I said, what tools do I have available to me that will help me drive better results with customer centricity as the focal point? And I began to audit my projects against this. And I recommend and encourage you, audit your projects. Are you thinking about the customer impact at every major decision point? Again, continue to talk to the customer or stakeholder. Sometimes the customer doesn't know what problem they are trying to solve. I think it's on us to help them figure that out, and again, provide them some frameworks or take them through a process or a customer journey that's going to enable them to open up more, reveal more, and get into what truly is the root cause. And for those I really like to use from the continuous improvement is the 5 whys. Continue to ask why until you can really drill down and find out what real success really looks like for them. And it may be beyond the metrics per se. And refocus those goals. not just from a completion standpoint, but start measuring it by transformations delivered. Remember, as project managers and leaders, we have to really own the outcomes. And by owning the outcomes, it is really focusing on the value that we drive beyond the triple constraints. It's not to ignore the triple constraints, but it's really to internalize, again, what does success truly mean for this project or program? And are the benefits of it worth the effort that leads to the ultimate result? So again, just wanted to drop this episode on you guys talking about customer centricity, because it was an aha moment for me as I was sitting in the town hall meeting. And sometimes, like I said, we need that refresher. We need to kind of get back to the fundamentals and the basics of why do I do what I do? And what we do and why we do it is for the customer. And that truly is our purpose, is to help the customer, take them along that journey and find ways to help them achieve that result, to lead with that new innovative mindset, to bring that product or service to the market with a customer-centric focus. Thank you for joining me today on Project Management Masterclass. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you today. And if today's conversation resonated with you, I would ask you to do a couple things. Be sure to follow the show if you're not already doing so. Leave a rating. Let me know what you think about this episode. You can send me a fan mail, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, because your feedback helps me have a customer-centric mindset as you being my listeners, as you being part of this journey with me of the topics we'll talk about on the show. What's of value to you? Also, share it with a fellow project leader who's ready to deliver more value with every project. Until next time, stay focused, stay driven, and always stay customer obsessed. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Project Management Masterclass. If you're ready to lead at a higher level, explore the Power Skills Academy and start mastering the skills that drive real project success. Visit www.developpowerskills.com. The link is in the description. See you in the next episode.